Got to apologise for the audio because it never worked, but this is a Porsche 914. Now this is owned by Shmee 150. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. If you caught the previous episode, which the link is also in the description, we removed the running gear, we actually got the engine started and we continue stripping the car. Well, in this video we're going to continue with the strip. We're going to remove that engine, we're going to remove the dash, get the windscreen out, and we'll take it from there. Right, so this is the 2-litre block. This did actually come in a 1.7 in the 4-cylinder as well. Now, to drop this, we've obviously got to take fuel lines off. We've got all these cables to take off. Half of it is actually dismantled anyway. You've got like this vacuum line and the intake as well. But we need to make sure that everything comes off properly and hopefully don't break anything because we don't want to drop the engine and end up severing a wire or something. So there's bolts underneath that we need to take off. There's bolts on the top that we need to take off. Just, you know, we need to take our time, make sure everything's correct. We did actually start this engine as well in the previous episode, which I'll leave a link in the description. It was a little bit ropey, but we did get it started. But now we need to drop it, obviously, to continue the restoration and to get in all these areas. And yeah, let's see how it goes. Right, so that's most of the things on the top of the engine. Obviously the fuel lines were already disconnected. We did a couple of electrical connections. Underneath, we've got the bare bones basically. I think the guys that have been working on this prior, they've literally just put the bare bones in to get the engine running without the fuel lines, obviously just tipping fuel in just like we did in the previous episode. Now you can see this speedo cable, which was duct taped to the exhaust, so this was removed as well, as was the speedo cable on the top of the engine. So we're going to continue removing everything we need to do. The gear linkage was also off, so yeah, it's literally just got the bare bones. So now we're going to drain the oil because it'll be easier to do it when it's on the car. So we'll drain the oil and then we'll continue trying to get this engine out. Right, so hopefully that's everything off the engine. Now it's good to double and triple check that everything's off. Just go around the edges, make sure everything's tucked into the engine that is part of the engine and everything's tucked away that isn't part of the engine. Hopefully now it comes down to the mounting point. So we've got two on the gearbox on the back and then we've got two on the actual engine itself on this front section. So we've supported it with a jack and it's just a slow process. We'll take the bolts out bit by bit. We'll leave them slightly in, so obviously if the engine does drop, it's going to catch on the bolts, and then yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, the engine comes out. Right, I have good news and bad news. The good news first, we actually managed to get the engine out in about half an hour. Now, some things were disconnected, but most of the things were still on there, and the engine just came out dead easy. Now, it's a big block. It's got the exhaust still on. It's obviously got the transmission on as well, but usually it's all dropped in one go. Now, we had to get a couple of hands, obviously, to make sure it was balanced, but it came out without too much issue. Now, the bad news is very bad. The hellhole, as people like to call it, and as Tim referred to in the first video, that has been repaired to a very, very, very bad standard. And it's not good. And it's not just the hellhole that's been repaired, it's everything around it. Now, I'm not going to say too much because that's going to be a whole hellhole episode of itself. Now, I'm going to concentrate on getting this dash out. So we don't want to do any cutting, grinding, welding, anything. While that dash is still in, we need to get everything out. So I can get the dash out, get all the other interior trims out, and then we'll take it from there. Yeah. You could say that I got a little bit carried away taking the windscreen out, but it's a job that needed doing and it's done. Now, all I used is a special tool. Anyway, that's done, that's sorted. Took a little bit longer than I expected, but job's a good one. Now, I'm gonna continue doing the dash that I originally started doing, but then got sidetracked on the windscreen, so yeah. Right, I think I'm just about as far as I can go in this interior. Now, there's 2 bolts, I'm pretty sure there's 2 bolts that are tucked inside here. I can see one here, I assume there's one on this side. So it means that I need to take this petrol tank out to get inside there to take them 2 bolts out. And then this whole dashboard frame should then come out, and then I can tuck the wires and etc., get everything sorted. One thing I would like to mention is this petrol tank isn't even connected to anything. There's nothing in it either. I've taken the cap off and you can see there's nothing in there, so I don't have to worry about any spillages. So I'm going to take this out, I'm going to try and get access to them bolts and then take this frame out. Right, so I've actually managed to get the dashboard out. So it was a little bit of a pain because we had the heater matrix controls here, which went through this hole, through the bulkhead. We also had the wires that came through here. So if it disconnected all the wires now, came through here, went behind the pedals down there, and actually went through this firewall into the engine. Now, the engine, if you just look down here, you can see that hole is where all the wires came from. So we had to thread everything back through there to take it out. Now, if you follow me around this way, you can actually see the wires that are scattered all over the floor. So I'm not sure how many kilometers of wires we've actually got, but but you can see the clocks down here, you can see the main switchboard, you can see all the main harnesses, and also if you look back here, you can see all of this is for the engine and the rear lights. What a mess. So now we're going to try and make some sort of sense of this and try and get it in some sort of storage area so we don't damage anything and everything's kept nice. And yeah, I think we've made an absolute mess and we just need to clean up. We went absolutely full ham strip in this car, so we've stripped just about everything, and the wiring and the dashboard were an absolute pain to get out. But they're out now, so that's sorted. So that's all we've got time for in this video. We've got a couple of little bits and bobs to take off, but that's going to be in the next video. So do check us out in the next video. We're hopefully going to get this on a jig and sort the banana out. Turn the banana into a cucumber, as my dad just said.